Okay, dear. So let's have a look on the inventory and MRP requirements. I have divided this sheet in two portions. First one is requirements and other one is for reporting. Reporting included MRP and inventory reporting. Okay, let's start with the requirements and let me start with the requirement 2 basically because I will explain this one in the last minutes of the video. A button should be available. Okay, this requirement is basically related to MRP. Okay, and MRP, and this is actually regarding to bill of material. This one. Okay, let me open it here. For example, manufacturing, and now come to bill of material. Where it is? Where it is? Okay, here it is. Okay, now I have, for example, this is a bill of material and I want to know that how many production has been completed out of this bill of material. So a button should be available on the top right, same like Odoo defaults button box, as you might have seen it. Like, let me show you if I code it here. Anyway, you can find it out very easily, and you know what I am talking about. So this button should be available and it should show that how many production have been processed successfully out of this bill of material. Clicking on this bill of material will lead me to the details of the manufacturing order, because we know that for each bill of material there are so many manufacturing orders and the relation is actually 1 to many, so we have to pick the successfully completed manufacturing orders. So this is actually about that button. Okay, a button should be available on the top right of the BOM. By clicking on this button will show how many works orders are prepared against a bit of material, and same as the button is here. This will actually show what a button should be available on top right of clicking on this button will show how many work orders are in progress. Okay, so it will actually show in progress and completed bill of material. Okay, I will explain this one later on because it has a lot of detail. An option, let me tell you about this. An option should be available on BOM product costing line that if user clicks the checkbox to get the per unit cost based on average cost, then the system should calculate as average cost. What does it mean? Okay, let me explain it. Okay. Now if I click on direct material cost here, you will get this code. Actually this is customized code and you will get this code, so you can continue this point forward, the customization. Now actually what I have done, we have created that per unit cost is something related to the actual cost. Okay, now what we want, an option should be available like checkbox. If I under this tab, if I check that checkbox that calculate the cost of all product based on the average cost or based on the FIFO, you can click a selection both, for example average cost, FIFO or actual cost. So this cost should be changed, per unit cost should be changed accordingly. Okay, and where from you will get the average cost. So we have already created that field on the product.template, or I don't know, product. I will you will get it in the code we share with you. So you will use that method and it will return the average cost to you. So what your function will do when you click on this, and it will be actually available on both bit of material and on what, on manufacturing order, because the same fields are reflected in both sides. So what I mean to say that if I want to calculate the cost of I want to process the costing through average cost, I will check that checkbox and the whole process, the whole prices will be changed of prices of all items will be changed to average cost, and that is average cost. How it is calculated, we have created a function for that. We have, that is a functional field available on the product, so you can directly call it on. Yeah, and even then it should be readable like now. It should not be changed to something like field.function, or it should just reflect the values from there. Okay, so this field should be available also on the bill of material and also on work orders. If I come to work orders and I see here and direct material cost, so I can use it here. Okay, where is, yes, it is here. So you can use under this tab that button. Okay, another thing I want to manufacturing order. Okay, an option should be available in manufacturer form product costing, in that if the user clicks on the checkbox to get the per unit cost in case developed. I already explained this, the same thing we want on manufacturing order. A button should be provided in manufacturing order from then when a product is started, which is further divided. Okay, now what is done normally when you use work center and routing, you know that then we have work same like manufacturing order, we have work orders. For example, if a manufacturing orders has 10 steps, so 10 work orders are created, and completing each work order actually completes the whole manufacturing process. So in this case, this is very good option, but in some cases where they are not following the work order proper monitoring system, so in that case we have to bypass all of them. For example, I want to show you, I create a new manufacturing order. Let's suppose this is a Shahid bike and it is created. Now what I click save and I create check availability, and then I click create work orders. When I click on create work orders, 10 work orders are created, and you can see it here. I cannot finish the manufacturing orders 7 until and unless all these 10 work orders are completed. So what I do, I click here on start working, then I click on done, and then now one work order is completed. You can see 1 out of 10 is completed. Now I click on this one. Okay, I click on start working and I click on done, and then continue production. Okay, now I come again to manufacturing. Now till 8 work orders are remaining, and until and unless they are not finished, I cannot close this manufacturing order number 7. Some of our clients are very happy with this option, and they are following in their, they have their separate systems in each and every manufacturing center, and their users are using this, and this is very good option. But some of our clients like this Park Asia does not want this feature. What it actually want, if actually want here button that produce, and then clicking on produce, the button should automatically complete all of the work orders here automatically, instead of clicking on each and every work order and completing it. System should complete it by itself. When I click on a button, any button here, it should complete all of the work orders here, and then when I complete all of them, let me complete it. Okay, so these work orders are completed, share button, I will have the default button which is actually available, but I cannot see it here because the work centers are not complete, work orders are not completed. So that button should be available. I think its name is mark as done and complete production. There are 2 buttons. One is mark as done, and before mark as done there is another button which actually become visible when these work orders are completed. So that button should be made visible, and actually that completes the manufacturing, and then I should be able to click on mark as done on button, which is actually I cannot see it here because this is in progress. So because work orders are in progress, so that button should be available. Bottom line is what I want that you should create a custom button here that will completes the work orders automatically by one click. One that is completed, the default Odoo buttons which are actually visible when work orders are completed, user should be able to click on that button and he should be able to complete the whole manufacturing process. So actually this button should work for that. So this was for that. Okay, now what is this? Come to task. This is discussed, this is discussed. Okay, this is not discussed, this is discussed. Okay, now come to task number 1. Now if you are familiar with the manufacturing process, and you already know that the manufacturing process is actually linked with the accounting system, then what actually happens when a manufacturing process is completed? What is its effects on account side? How our raw material accounts are affected, how our finished goods accounts are affected, and how actually the accounts related accounts, book of accounts, should be updated. So I didn't see in ADDI, maybe there is some process for that, but I didn't see it in Odoo. When I complete a manufacturing process, it actually does not update my chart of account, my accounts entries. My assets remain the same, my finished book accounts remain the same, but actually it should update all the accounts accordingly. For example, I had raw material of $20,000 and I used it in manufacturing, and now I have created a finished product. So my raw material should be reduced by $20,000. My what I should say, my finished goods should be increased. My accounts of my finished goods should be increased accordingly, and my expenses regarding the manufacturing should also be updated in its relevant account. For example, if I show you here, for example, this is body fitting, these are the costs, and this is the total cost of the manufacturing, direct material cost. For example, this one 17475, like this. So when the production is over, where does, to which ledger, to which book this figure will go? This is actually cost of direct material. Now this is the labor cost. Where does labor cost will go? In books of account, where does it will be shown? I will show you the profit and loss account and cost of goods sold account format, that how it should be reflected there. Okay, and what about the other overhead cost? For example, you can see that when a manufacturing process is completed, this cost is occurred. Where does this cost will go? Okay, so actually I want to record all of the costs related to the manufacturing to its relevant book of accounts. We can discuss it further because here it requires a little bit functional consultancy, and we can discuss it, that how we should set up these things. But you should have in mind that from account side, from technical side, how you can do it, and how entries can be balanced. One thing is clear, that with each product, for example, this is a product, there is a income and expense account, we can use it for such kind of activities, and but we have to properly plan that how it should record transaction in book ops account when a manufacturing process is completed. So this is actually about that thing. And now this is again something related to this, but this time we have to update book of accounts not on successful manufacturing, but in case some manufacturing in progress is abundant, like some sort of losses occurred, some sort of manufacturing process is cancelled, some of the raw material is used, while some of the raw material is lost, while some of the raw material is sent back to the inventory. So in this case we have to deal with all of the situations and update our accounts accordingly. This is very simple. This is very simple. We have to provide for example a button here or we can deal it directly with the inventory losses, productivity losses here. For example, in the cases where, for example, equipment failure or whatever it is, we can create, or even we on manufacturing order, we can create a new button, for example, and on that button we can say cancel this manufacturing. When cancel this manufacturing occurs, we can update products list one by one, that what does it, or we can ask that what we have to do with the direct material cost, should we record it, or we should what we can do it, what we can do with that, and what should we do with the HR cost, labor cost, and what we can do with the other overhead. We actually update the overheads right here. For example, let me show you. This is in progress. Okay. Let me open another one. This is in progress. And instead of completing the production, we actually want to cancel the production. Then we can state it here right away what we want to do with this cost. Either it becomes 0, no, actually plain no quantity is consumed, this quantity is also not consumed, this, yes, this is consumed, and this is consumed in the unit of 2. Okay, now I will click on what? I will click on cancel production. When I click on cancel productions, account should be maintained the same way when I click on done production and successful production, in the case of successful production. So this way we will actually, this is very simple, actually I don't know, I have explained it, I should explain it very simple, but it prolonged, but you know what I mean and how we will do. This is, it could be technically managed very with the ease of work. There is no complication in this process, and you can do it very easily. So actually these are the requirements, and formats of all reports are shared. Okay, now come to reports. Now format of all reports should be same. Requirement number 1 in MRP and inventory and whatever, and these are other reports. Okay, and its formats are already shared with you guys. Let me, if I could open it, for example, R1 MFG, R1 INV, and if I open this report, for example, you have just to take idea. It's not necessary that you all of these you put, all of these you produce, all of these, maybe there are some fields that are not available, but actually this thing is required. Or even I can okay, I will draw format of each report by my hand and will share it here. Okay, so actually you can get idea from here, and what should be exactly on the report, you have to wait for the images I will share with you guys, and that will be the same. That will be up to 80% will be the same. For example, inventory, if I talk about inventory report, I will say share the same format, but maybe this auto rickshaw type product name should not be available there. Maybe I do not include category in that report. So you have to look for the format I will share with you, but you can take ideas from these reports. Okay, so these are actually requirement, very simple requirement, can be done with a reasonable time. If you have any further question, you can ask me.